Okay, so I've been having an issue with my Town & Country 2010. It's got the 6.2 TE transmission. And I've been having an issue where it shifts hard. Well, finally, the other day, what happened was we were driving and we came up to a stop sign. When we came up to that stop sign, it didn't shift out of second gear after we left. So put up the code reader. I think it was P076A or something along those lines. I'll put the code in when I can, but it was the shift solenoid H. Well, buying one of these shift solenoid packs here, move my arm out of the way, is a lot cheaper than going through and replacing all of the shift solenoids that I went. There's another video that you can look at that goes over replacing, or testing I should say, the individual solenoids. Pretty much when you search 6.2 TE on YouTube, that's what comes up. Now mine is a unique option to what I've seen, 3.8 with the 6.2 TE. A lot of the ones that I see in regards to the 6.2 TE are with the 3.6. Well, sorry, it's hard to do this with one hand. Well, a lot of the 3.8s and 3.3s came with the 4R TE, or it was the 4-speed transmission, and a lot of the 3.6s were the 6 speeds. So this was in the middle year. Well, getting the cover right here off of the top of the valve body and the shift solenoid shift pack were some of the hardest things that I've had to do while the engine transmission are in the car. So first and foremost, with the 3.6s, a lot of the videos that I've seen don't have this exhaust pipe running over here, which, as you can see here on the cover, bumps into that, and that is a absolute pain to take off. Just because this is in the way, and you can't really move this because, I mean, you could, but to do this at home, getting to that bolt there and the one on the bottom are not easy. Now, in one of my futile attempts, I did loosen up the manifold, pull this bolt out, realizing I couldn't get to the bottom ones just because of the amount of space in the motor mount here. I was able to move it up maybe a millimeter. Ultimately, what I was able to do to get this thing off is, we can't see it here, this big harness here runs up to your battery and your computer down over here, runs right across the top onto your transmission cooler lines as well. So, I mean, you just got to pull those out of the way, but you have a power steering line right here. I'm pretty positive, yes, power steering line right here. And this runs down and attaches to your motor mount. You have to pull that off if you have any hope of getting that cover off. Just because of the transmission fill tube, I'll say, because there's no dipsticks in these. Your fill tube will bump into that. You have to take that off to be able to move it out of the way, as well as removing your harness here. There are other things you can do. I dropped the transmission just a little, along with the subframe connector right there, that runs from front to back with the motor mount and the transmission mount in the back. But the reason I'm filming this or posting this is just because I don't see a lot of 6.2 TE replacements for the shift solenoid pack right there that have the 3.8 or have this crossover tube. This is what the issue that I was running into, and of all the research I did, it was either a 3.3 with the 4-speed or the 3.6 with the 6-speed that didn't have this crossover tube. This was the bane of my existence. getting that out was absolutely horrendous, because I was fighting with it until, you know, I had to essentially think my way out of it and drop the transmission a little bit and disconnect way more than I wanted to, just to pull off that cover. Now, I know on some of the 3.6 6.2 TEs, this dipstick here, or your fill tube here, is a lot shorter, so I had to fight with that as well. You can see there it got marred up, but I'll be cleaning this up and replacing it with a gasket instead of RTV, which I will let you guys know. Well, it's not on here. Cobra Transmissions. They sell the gaskets. Get this thing out. Hold on 1 second. Cobra Transmissions sells the gaskets, so you don't have to fool with RTV or faulty, leaky transmissions again. I had to do the same thing with this cover here. There's 2 gears under here. I'm not a transmission tech, so I don't exactly know what they are for. I just know that I was leaking out of the bottom of this because of the RTV. So pulled that off, bought a gasket off Cobra Transmissions, and I have, in the past 5,000 miles, I've had no issues with it. Now this is a 215,000 mile van, so it's got plenty of love. I bought it at 200,000 miles, so as far as I'm aware, the engine is original. Not sure of all the parts on it. Now, I did have to replace the transmission shortly after I got it. The other one ate itself, but I found a replacement on LKQ, and it was $1,000, and then went to a local shop that put it in for $1,700, so better than buying a brand new one off Monster or however for $3,500 and having another $2,000 another $2,000 to put it in. Now, if you're going to do this, there's also some other recommended replacements. You've got 2 sensors in there. So this is your torque your torque converter control, new shift valve right there, and then you've got what's this one? Here you got your pressure sensor as well. There's the part numbers, 926442 Dorman, and all this, everything except 926378, everything except the gaskets came off of Rock Auto, and it came in like 2 days, so it was pretty impressive. And there's your pressure sensor. Those are right on top of the valve body, so I recommend you replace those as well as everybody else that is doing this job. I also opted for Mopar ATF Plus 4. Now I got a deal on these. It was like $40 on Amazon for 6 quarts. At the store, because I didn't think those were going to be in time, at O'Reilly's, not AutoZone. I paid, I believe it was like $60 for that 5 quart and that single quart, so it was pretty expensive. However, I'm only posting this so you guys know that the cover, I mean everything else as far as this shift pack solenoid is equal to what you're going to see on the 3.6 with the 6.2 TE, except for this. This is a pain. Now, with the 3.3, or if you have a year model 2010, you will possibly have this issue, and if you do, this is for you. If not, it's good information regardless. But specific to the 3.3 and the 3.8 is this exhaust crossover tube that makes getting that cover off a pain in the butt. All right, everybody, I hope someone was able to get something from this, because I have not seen a lot on this topic. If not, well, I hope it was helpful to someone. Thank you. Have a great day.